Welcome to the Chris Fischer Show. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski, visiting today with Marshfield Tigers boys basketball coach Chris Fischer. Coach, an impressive week last week, 3 wins, no losses. And, let's just start with that. Just overall, you go perfect on the week as you methodically make your way to a conference championship. That's very successful.
Yeah, I haven't. One of the things as a coach, one of the pitfalls is you're always busy thinking about what's next. And I had a little time over the weekend, not much, but it was a little time over the weekend to kind of sit and reflect about what our team and program accomplished. If you're dating back to even 2 Fridays ago at Everest, and what we accomplished in the last 8 days, 4 games, all on the road, all at really good conference opponents. The win at Everest, the win at Spash, the win at Rapids, and then cap it off Friday night, the win at Wausau East. It's very I'm very humbled and appreciative of what our athletes are the work that they're putting in, the success and the rewards that they're reaping from that work. Certainly a week and a stretch of games that I'll never forget. And, we created some very fond memories within those 4 games. Very humbled by what we're accomplishing at the moment.
Let's go back to a week ago on Monday over at Stevens Point. I think we talked about it, and a lot of people outside of either program kind of looked at it and thought, hey, I'm going to go down and watch this one because there's a chance we could have some excitement at the end, and it turned out to be a 1-possession game. You come out of the locker room after the game, and you're fist pumping, and some relief and some jubilation, and then you talked about it as a team win. Reflect on that on Monday, the team win over at Stevens Point.
Yeah, it was a very poor start by us, especially offensively. They hit some shots on us early and got us down 15-3, and we were held without a basket for quite some time. And the resilience that our guys just showed, and they just kept playing. They dug in a little bit more defensively. Some shots started to fall for us. We had a big swing right before the end of the first half there, into the locker room, down 7. Well, actually, we thought we were down 5, and a score correction was made correctly. But even still, to go from down 5 in the locker room talk to coming back out and seeing the score up 7, you could, you're a little bit shell-shocked at first, but you learn, that is the correct score. But, the mentality that our guys had, they could have been even down more. But, we got off with a good possession, right, to start the second half. I think Chris got a baseline drive for a dunk, and that kind of got us going. And we had some big shots from some big guys. Brant Fries knocked down a big 3. Joey Ketterer played big minutes. Even the guys that didn't see the floor at all were huge energizers for us on our bench. Our JV crowd, JV players and student section underneath our basket gave us some great energy. It was a really, really good program win for us that night.
Final 15 seconds. You're up by 3, inbounding the basketball. Stevens Point had just taken a timeout. And I thought I was doing such a good job on the call. I laid out the 3 things that the Panthers are going to attempt to do out of this timeout, coming into the baseline out of bounds play. And of course, that 4th thing I didn't even consider, which was a foul that gave them the ball back. What'd you tell your guys after that sudden change?
I didn't have time to say anything to them. It was a situation that, as a coach, you think back on it and you got to make your team aware of that potential possibility where you're sprinting hard to either clear out or make a cut, and a defender jumps in. Well, a defender is in your way. You've got to make them aware of that situation to make sure there's any type of extension of arms or any type of physicality where you could get called for a foul. And we were called for a foul. Then at that point, Stevens Point didn't have any timeouts left, and I know there was some gamesmanship in a couple of our guys. Like I don't know why there was a discussion at the scorers table to kind of give them a brief timeout where they gather their team, but it wasn't a timeout. So at that point, you've got to rely on your preparation. You've got to rely on what you've seen on films with those out of bounds plays in certain situations. You got to understand who you're guarding and where they're going to try to throw the ball in bounds. And I thought our guys did a really good job of that. They responded very well. I thought we guarded their out of bounds play very well and forced them into a tough shot.
Thinking just of Monday, we'll get to the other two road games later on. Thinking just of Monday, the support you had in that gym. I'll just give you a chance here on this show to thank those folks for coming out and making sure that you all were well supported on Monday night.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to have the support. The feeling I have as a head coach where we're allowed to coach our guys without any type of interference from any parents or fans, anybody in the stands. The support they give me in just allowing us and our staff to coach their sons when at a lot of times the emotions run high and we have to make quick, tough decisions that maybe aren't in the best interest of their particular son, but they're in the best interest of the program. To see the following that we're getting now, the support that we get from not just the parents and relatives of our players, but I'm starting to see more and more members of our community involved, more people that you see out in public. We're receiving a tremendous following now and tremendous support, and everyone and every person that's there is a big help to us. And they need to know that the more, the merrier.
The number 3 ranked Marshfield Tigers played 2 other road games last week. We'll talk about those when we join the Chris Fischer Show right after this. Wondering what to feed your team after work, the game, or this weekend? Chips Hamburgers in Marshfield and Wisconsin Rapids has tasty, char-broiled burgers for any hungry appetite. From the classic hamburger to the famous Chips Champ and everything in between, check out our daily specials. Stop inside to enjoy your meal with comfortable seating. See our complete menu of burgers, hot ham and cheese, hot beef, chicken and fish, fries, rings, curds, and ice cream served year-round. In a hurry? Same great menu in the drive-thru. Chips Hamburgers in Marshfield and Wisconsin Rapids.
It's simple, but true. Time is money. At Sherrill Tire and Service, we have over 20 mobile service trucks to get you rolling and growing again. Sherrill Tire and Service Centers, your locally owned farm tire dealer.
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, how can I help you?
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken has been voted best pizza in Marshfield 15 years in a row. Scotty's Pizza and Chicken is ready for your call now at 715-384-8118. Choose Drunken Chicken, BLT, Western, mac and cheese, sweet chili chicken, and more. Plus, Scotty's has roasted chicken, fish, sandwiches, salads, and desserts. Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, 715-384-8118 and Scotty'sPizza.com.
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, how can I help you?
We continue today's Chris Fischer Show with talk about the 3 games from last week, the win at Spash on Monday night, and then a 20-point win at Wisconsin Rapids. We'll make a pit stop there, Coach. We really want to talk about that Wausau East game on Friday night, but the 20-point win and your team rebounding after a really emotional contest on Monday to come out and put their stamp on that game at Wisconsin Rapids.
There is a big fear after a big emotional game where there's a lot of physicality and energy in a building when you immediately have to go less than 24 hours later on the road again to another conference team. And Wisconsin Rapids is tremendously improved. When sometimes coaches forget as you're trying to get your team better, everybody around you is getting better as well. And now that we've put ourselves in this position, we're going to get everybody's best shot. And Rapids knocked down some shots early on us, and it was back and forth in the first half there. Even the early parts of the second half, Rapids was really after us blow for blow. They did a nice job of taking Brooks Hinson away. They guarded him very well and sent multiple defenders at him. And we had some guys step up. Valen Rambrick had a great game. Ethan Connect played very well. Chris Pohl had a great second half. Again, Joey Ketterer's playing well. So it was nice to see some of our guys step up when we needed them on the road.
And then you finish off the road contest, 3 of 3 at Wausau East on Friday night. You had trailed somewhat significantly during parts of that game. Where did you think your team was at the start of the second half at Wausau East on Friday night?
We had a chance at the end of the first half to kind of extend our lead going into the break. I think we had gotten up 8 at one point, 33-25. And I think Wausau East scored a basket. We had a couple possessions late in the first half that not happy with the shot selection. We turned it over right at the end of the half for a dunk to give them all the momentum going into the break. And then second half, it was possession by possession, back and forth. Kids making plays on both sides. And, we were fortunate to have that possession at the end of the game.
Yeah, for sure. And a possession that you go to your go-to offensively. Brooks Hinson, he has made big shots now, 3 years in your program running, and will likely make more yet this season. The confidence level you have in Brooks on that final possession. Tell us about that.
Well, the confidence that I have in Brooks, I don't know if we can measure that. All that confidence that I have in him and that Brooks has in himself, and the teammates, the guys that he plays with have in him, that all comes from preparation. That all comes from everybody. Everybody knows the amount of shots and time and effort that Brooks puts into his game. So there was really no question as to who we wanted to have the ball in his hands. The question was, how are we going to get it to him? And Landon Lee, to his credit, he had gotten banged up a little bit late in that second half, and he was kind of the guy that gave us the idea of they're going to take away Brooks in the backcourt. So why don't we try to get something to him going to the basket instead of trying to pass it into the backcourt, and then you have him gain some momentum. Landon kind of gave us the idea of, why don't we get it into somebody else and have Brooks getting downhill a little head of steam before that. So, I mean, when you have a kid like that, willing to step forth and voice his idea, that's what we want, because a player-led team always has a higher ceiling than a coach-led team. And, the degree of difficulty in the shot that Brooks made is probably a 15 out of 10. Again, I'm so lucky to be able to coach the guys that we've got. And, Brooks is a special player.
You mentioned the level of difficulty, Coach. We'll play this on the screen now. You've seen the replay, I'm sure, a few times since Friday night. Brooks stumbling, sliding, regaining his feet, half the gym on the other half, celebrating, the half behind you, calling for a travel. Just help us understand what all transpired there in those final seconds.
Well, I don't. He ends up on the floor for a reason. There's a lot of things at play there. If he's on the floor, he's on the floor. He doesn't have control of the ball. The rule in the basketball rule book says you got to have control of the ball for it to be a travel. And as he went down, his hand stayed on top of the ball. He didn't carry it. He didn't drag it with him. And as the ball laying down, as he was getting up, he picked it up and went immediately into a shot. There was a lot of things in that over the course of that game. A lot of plays that happened. Certainly that one stands out because it happened at the end. Brooks made a fantastic play. He made an unbelievable play. He made an unbelievably legal play. And we're very fortunate that Brooks is on our team.
Very exciting finish, and has you one game. You'll have 2 non-conference games next week. We'll talk about those coming up. But has you one game from at least claiming a share of the conference, and you're in pole position as far as that's concerned. Last thing I want to talk to you about, Coach, there has been some talk of shot clock in this state for high school basketball. Neighboring states have gone to it, including Minnesota just this past year. Leading into that moment, you had a minute 10-second possession playing within the rules, and there's no doubt about that. Just your thoughts, though, on a shot clock at some point in the future here in the state.
I am in favor of a shot clock in the state of Wisconsin. Let me be clear about that. I think a shot clock just ensures a pace of play. It ensures tempo. It ensures playmaking ability from your athletes. I know there's a lot of people that are against it. I know the reasons why, and some of them are very valid. I do think that some coaches are a little bit, they're a little bit worried about giving up control. Without a shot clock, they feel like they would have more control over pace and tempo of a game, right? Like they feel like without a shot clock, they would potentially have more of a chance to beat a higher higher skilled, higher, whatever you want to call it, a better team than them. We've played in, 10 days ago now at DC Everest. DC Everest had multiple possessions where we had to guard for over a minute. Uncomfortable for us to do that, but certainly to Everest's credit, they were very effective doing that. I always look at a coach like Dick Bennett, who's been notorious for the grinding out possessions. If Dick Bennett can figure out how to coach with a shot clock and do it very well and get his team to a Final Four, I think other coaches are able to do that as well. I do understand you got to have people to run it. There's costs involved. I think all of those are valid concerns, but I do think a shot clock is warranted in the state of Wisconsin.
I appreciate the answer, Coach, and the candid nature of it. I like this possession we're talking about on Friday night, that second to last one. The detractors to the shot clock will say, "Well, play better defense." Wausau East played the best defense a team can play. There was no better defense available, and then at a certain point, it becomes a free throw shooting contest. Which the debate there is this: are we still playing basketball at that point? 2 games coming up this week. We'll talk to Coach Chris Fischer about those right after this.
Culligan Water delivers. From your first call to your first sip to your first soak. Culligan, give us a tap. The only water that comes with a van.
After a couple years of a job that doesn't fit, it's time for more money, more opportunity. That is where Mid-State Technical College comes in. Would cooking be a good fit? Try on a career in welding. Perhaps the outdoors suits you better. Or maybe helping people is a better fit. No matter your path, we've got cutting-edge classes with field-trained professionals and better tuition options, making Mid-State the perfect fit.
Back here on today's Chris Fischer Show, a couple of games this week, both on the road, both sectional opponents, Eau Claire North, Eau Claire Memorial. You play these games because they are sectional opponents. It's a way to kind of measure yourself against those. And, 2 teams in a good basketball conference that are having pretty good seasons this year.
Yeah. Eau Claire North we have tomorrow night. And, anytime you play at Eau Claire North in their doghouse, it's going to be a battle. The last time we visited there, we had to get out of there with a Brooks Hinson buzzer beater again to win that game by a point. Eau Claire North is vastly improved, highly improved. Their leading scorer is a UW Eau Claire recruit, the Roxwold kid, a really, really good athlete, 6'7" kid that can shoot it. He reminds me a lot of the Doherty kid from Brookfield Central and his ability to do multiple things and score in multiple ways. They're a high volume 3-point shooting team. They're about, 50-50 on their 2-point attempts and 3-point attempts. And they've got multiple guys that can shoot it. They look to space you out, spread you out, and attack the paint, attack the rim. So we've got to be really, really good defensively tomorrow night.
And then Memorial later this week, they are without their top guy. Took an elbow injury a week or 2 ago, but still that's a deep team and a well-coached team in the Memorial Old Aves.
Yeah, Eau Claire Memorial is working on a conference championship for them this year. Another team that's incredibly talented and multiple guys that can score it, multiple guys that can shoot it. You always want to play a team when they're at their best. And Cooper Jesperson is a very, very talented player. And it always, you never want to see a 16, 17-year-old player, athlete lose time because of injury. Unfortunately we've had that situation before where we've played a team where a top guy has gone down, and what you see from that opponent is the level of play from everybody else goes up a couple notches because now their second and third option becomes their first and second option. And now they're doing things that you don't see on film. That now they're attacking the rim where maybe they were just a spot up shooter, or now they're maybe playing with their back to the basket. Now they become more defensive minded and they're doing some different things. So yeah, the Jesperson kid is injured, but they're still really, really good because now they've got really good players in different roles, and now they become more of a challenge to prepare for.
Coach, best of luck this week. I'll tell the people, get out to Eau Claire and support these Marshfield Tigers. They're ranked number 3 in the state. It's a great team, and it's a good watch. It's good entertainment. Eau Claire's not that far away. Coach, for you, I'll say good luck this week.
Thanks, Jason. Roll Tigers.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.